Hey everybody! Finally got some cool snow coming down. It's freezing out here and we are having a semi-blizzard here in Indiana. So I'm gonna get a little bit of video shot of this and maybe some slow-mo and maybe just a time lapse so we can see how much we get. Don't want to leave my camera out here too long because it's very cold and wet and snowy, but we'll get a little bit of video here. So here we go, fun times. Excited to get some snow finally.
We just went to the mailbox and we had the delivery, so let's check it out. Let's do an unboxing. Even though we know what it is.
The viewers don't though.
All right, so it's called a kilowatt. This is the item that we'll use to plug in that will calculate the kilowatt usage and how much it costs to run things. So the first thing we want to put it on is the in-floor heating system so that we can get a reading on how often and how much it runs, so that we can calculate how much the in-floor heating electric boiler is costing. So we'll get it out, read the instructions, and get it plugged in. So if anybody's interested in this product, we'll put a link below, and you can press the link. That'll go to the Amazon store, and you can order your own. Why is it so cold in here? It's not cold in here because we have an in-floor heating system. Hey guys, welcome to RV Barndominium again. You know, we've been getting a lot of questions about our in-floor heating system that we put into the Barndominium here, and I have to admit that was by far the best idea we had when we designed and came up with this, considering we had a concrete floor, because it works great. Now, right now, we've had some pretty good cold temperatures outside, but we've got a really cold snap coming. It's supposed to get down into the teens and the high below zero. So we want to run a test for you all. So what we're going to do, right now we run the in-floor heating system. We have it set at 65 degrees right now. So the floor, the top of the floor, we have a sensor on the floor. Once it gets to 65 degrees, it shuts off the heater and the circulation system. I really don't know how much it runs. I don't know how much it ends up costing. So we're going to do a test. We also have the heater turned on the heat pump, and it supplements the heat if it's needed. And we really don't monitor how much that comes on. So we're going to kind of look at that. So what I'm going to do, we've got a really cold snap coming. So we want to see just how good the floor system can do by itself. So what we're going to turn the floor up. Normally we keep the house at 68, 70, what did you like it? 68? We're going to go 68. So we're going to put, oh, I heard it kick on outside. So we're turning the floor heat up to 68 degrees. And we're going to go over to the air conditioning system, the heat pump, and we're going to turn off the heater. Roll that near raw footage. All right. So we're at the heat pump system, and right now the heater is on. Currently the temperature in the barn is 68 degrees right here. So so that tells you that the floor was at 65, but the barn is at 68. So the heat pump was probably helping out a little bit with the temperature, or the heat was rising. We don't know. So that's why we're going to do a test. I'm going to go and I'm going to turn the heat off. So right now the heater is turned off. The floor heat has now been raised to 68, and we're going to let this thing run probably for about 4 or 5 days. Like I said, we got We've got very cold temperatures coming in at the end of this week, and I have also purchased a kilowatt hour meter that I can use to plug into the system outside for the floor heating pump. I can only plug it into the pump that runs the pump. I cannot plug it in to the boiler that does the temperature, but I'm hoping it will give me a how many hours or how many minutes the pump ran. And if it gives me that, I know how many amps that heater draws, and I can calculate that number for you too. If not, we'll just have to do a rough estimate. But so we're going to put it like this for a couple days, run it for a while, see what we get, and we'll be back in about a week to let you know what kind of results we got. So hang in there. Okay, first development. We went to the in-floor heating system and we changed the temperature on that one from 65 to 68 because we figured that the temperature was being assisted by the heat pump. So when we went from 65 to 68, we turned off the heat here. Well, the temperature here rose up to 72. So it went from 68 to 72. So the exact amount we raised it at the in-floor heat raised the temperature of the house. So the actual floor heat, even though the floor is only at 65, was keeping the house at 68. So when we raised it to 68, it went up to 72. But since then, it's been about 24 hours. It has gotten very cold outside. We actually have freezing rain outside, and we have ice all in the trees and everything. Everything's iced over. The temperature has dropped dramatically outside, and the house has gone from 72 to 69 now. So we've dropped down 3 more degrees, and we have not touched the floor system. So the floor is set to 68. The house is running right now at 69. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what this thing does as it gets even colder outside. So we're going to get outside, get our kilowatt meter hooked up also, so that we can start seeing how much this is costing us. So stick around.
This is grass. All right, we have the device plugged in. It looks like it's currently taking some, I don't know, kilowatt readings, I guess. So we'll study this thing up and come back here in a couple days and see what we got. It's drippy today. Oh, the big icicle right there. Oh! Well, there's part of it.
Hey guys, welcome back to RV Barndominium. We're going to do a follow-up on a video we made earlier in the year when we put the in-floor heating system in. We're going to kind of do a follow-up of how it is now and things we've learned, not learned, and everything. So let's go over the system now after we've been running it for, I don't know, 6 months or so, and see how she's doing. So as of now, my pressures are still good, according to what we originally set them for. If you aren't familiar with our original setup, go to the link above and check out that video of the installation where we talk about the pressures, the problem I had getting the pressure into the system, and you can see that on that video. Just hit that link and go to that. Maintenance wise, as long as we've been running it, my pressures are still holding good. So that means I don't have any leaks, nothing of that sort. I didn't have any air bubbles. I haven't had any hammering or anything like that. My inlet temperature right now is showing about 82 degrees. The temperature of the water glycerin coming through after it returns from the floor, it comes back. It's about 82 degrees, and I am pushing out. I've got it set on about 112, and it looks like it's going out at about, it's showing going out about 108 or something like that. So my outlet temperature coming out over here is hot, and that pipe is warm, and coming back is about 82. If you go back and look at our installation video, we've had some questions concerning the liquid that is inside this unit. It is water, but it is a water glycerin mix. You have to mix it, I think 30% glycerin. I think that's what it was. I used a 5-gallon bucket of glycerin. So it was distilled water and glycerin. People have questions about that liquid that is in it and whether it circulates through our hot water system. This liquid in this system does not touch any other water or liquid in the Barndominium. It is totally self-contained. There are, however, water heaters that do double duty. They will heat your personal water and they'll heat the water for this system. The HydroShark, the system we have here, the heater, the HydroShark system, they have a unit that does that. It does double duty. I looked at the prices and there wasn't any kind of a savings that I could see as far as putting that system in. And everything that I can read and I can see on it, people basically say, you got a single point of failure. Then if that one system goes down, then you also don't have hot water for your house and you don't have hot water for your in-floor heat. So I went with the two system. We have the water heaters for our hot water for home use and the water heater that is heating the water / glycerin for this unit. We can put a link down below. This is the glycerin that we used. It says antifreeze, but it is specifically made for in-floor heating systems. Bought this at Menards just the same time that I bought this system. The panel, the control panel for this, it all came assembled in one piece, very easy to install. All I had to do was attach it to my header with my electrical and the electrical that runs the heater. One of the questions we get asked about is maintenance. We really haven't had to do anything to this system. I do come out every now and then just to check, make sure it's running. You can hear it run inside the house, but it's a very, very faint hum, and that's only if you're in the laundry room. So it is extremely quiet as far as that goes. And when you come outside, you can just look. This is a clear section here on a check valve. You can check and see and make sure you don't have any bubbles, and check your pressures and make sure they're at about the same settings, somewhat close to the same settings that you had whenever you originally set it up. Other than that, that's the only questions. You'll have one light that's on here that'll tell you when the boiler is on and operational, and there's also a zone light over here. Other than those, there is really nothing to maintenance on these. As far as the manifold header goes, where the piping goes to the house, there are flow regulators on that, and you just look at each one of those, and mine are set at 3/4 gallon per hour. So you just check those and make sure that your flow is still the same in all your areas. One of the reasons we wanted to do this follow-up is, as everyone has gone through, we just had a very severe cold snap that went across the nation, and our temperature in our local area was dropping down into the teens, down to zero in single digits. We did not get any below freezing, below zero cold, but we did get in the teens and single digits. And we wanted to see how this performed, for one, and then we wanted to calculate the cost. So as we went back and showed that we bought a meter that is metering the panel itself as far as kilowatt hours, time that it's running, and things like that. It does not register the boiler because that is on a separate system, electrical system over here. So I just had to calculate that system. As far as how this thing has been holding up over the year, so far we've had no problems, none whatsoever. I have no complaints. It has performed the way we expected it to. No leaks, no drips, no errors. It's so far excellent. Some people have been asking us if we have any regrets with the in-floor heating system and or using the electric boiler rather than another source of heat. Electric was really our only choice for a source of heat. So electric is our only option for a source of heat at this time. We elected to not put gas into the house. No propane. We don't have an option for city gas, but we opted not to bring propane into the barn for multiple reasons. So we have stuck with electrical on both our hot water system and the boiler that is on this, and also the supplemental heat that is on the air conditioning heat pump system. So electrical was really the only way we had to go. And in hindsight, an only regret would be if you go with gas tends to be more efficient when it comes to a heated item. So gas might have been, a little bit better of an option for heating the glycerin or heating hot water system. We just don't have any natural gas or propane in our building. So, other than that, I have no regrets. I mean, it's clean. As of right now, it's doing fine. Maybe in the future we'll be putting us a solar system outside to supplement our electrical usage, but we'll get into the cost here shortly. We've gotten questions concerning concerns with pets on the floor. Whether I don't know if people are concerned about if it is too hot for a pet to be laying on it, or if it's too cold for a pet to be laying on it. We'll refer back to other videos we have where we've stated our floor temperature that we have on the surface of the floor, we have it set to 65 degrees. That sounds a little cold, but 65 degrees on the floor constitutes to actually about 68 degrees in the air temperature around the rest of the house, in the entire house. That tends to be where it's hovering at. So floor temperature being at 65 degrees is where we stand. So, yes. So if an animal was on the floor, the only thing you would worry about is it drawing the heat out of the pet. So definitely put them on a pet bed. Have a pet bed or something for your pet to lay on. But it's definitely not a burn issue. It's not nearly that hot. Yes, the glycerin temperature is up in the hundreds, but the floor temperature does not get to 100. It circulates through at that temperature, comes out about 80, so the heat is being drawn out, but the surface temperature is not nearly that hot. So we have no problems, walking barefoot. You can't feel it, in any way. Some of the do's and don'ts that you would have with a in-floor heating system is don't go drilling holes in your floor randomly. That is a big problem, though, with an in-floor heating system. You have pipes in your floor, in your concrete slab, so you can't just go randomly cutting holes or putting anchors down into the floor for cabinetry or something of that sort because there's tubing in the floor. Unfortunately, I was not here when the Amish put the tubing down and poured concrete on it. They did that all in one day. It was, by the time I got here that night, concrete was already poured and they were done. So I was like, okay, got no video footage of that. But I also don't know greatly where everything is in the floor and all the tubing. I don't know the layout, so I would have liked to have got a good drone shot of that. But that's one of the do's or don'ts. Do follow all manufacturers' recommendations as far as pressure settings of whenever you pressurize your system, the glycerin, glycerin mix to get that. Be sure you've got appropriate. It says do not use over 50% glycerin, and I think it recommends 30% glycerin, about a third, and that's about what I've got. You can check to the video, the other installation video on that, where I talk about how many gallons I put of each. Of course, electrical. If you're not comfortable with electrical, get an electrician, because you're talking about high voltage on this. This is 220 volts going to a 40 amp circuit, and you had to put a 110 socket in here also for the pump and monitoring systems. You also have thermostats on the interior that you have to wire up to it. So if you're not comfortable, here's my thermostat wiring coming through over here. So if you're not comfortable with electric, you might want to get an electrician to do that. But other than that, it really was not hard. Like we said, we'll link everything below again of the panel we used, the manifolds, anything on this system. We'll have all the links down below, including the installation video of our original installation of us putting this system in and the problems I had with the pumping that up. Don't chintz out on that. And just follow those links, and you can get a lot more information from the manufacturers on that. This panel itself was about $2,000 just for the operating center here. But it was well worth it, because, I mean, look at the piping. That's not something I wanted to take on. I can do piping. This is clean. I like this. This came out really good. It was so easy to put up and install. I would definitely recommend just buy the panel already done. It's tested at the factory. It's all set up, and it was just too easy. Too easy. I would definitely recommend that. So we've had a lot of people ask us also, how much does it cost per year to run the system? Well, we haven't had it for a year, so we haven't had it for very long at all, as far as getting our bills in and seeing everything. It's a new installation. It's a new barn, new house. So we don't have a lot of numbers on that. I did buy the meter here so that I could monitor how much this thing runs, how often, how many hours a week does this end up running. And as it turns out, during this cold snap that we had, like I said, temperatures in the teens and the single digits. It was very cold outside. During that time, we turned off our supplemental heating. So the only heating we were using was floor heating, in-floor heating. So during that time, as it turns out, this system would run about an hour and a half a day. 1.5 hours, 1.55 hours per day. And according to the amperage that it was drawing off of the pump system over here, which was like 1 amp, and this is a 40 amp system. I did register over here. It was pulling 30 amps. Inside, I think I was getting like 38 amps. So this operates on a 40 amp system at, I think, 9,000 or 9,800 watts. Calculating the numbers out, it turns out that this would, in a month, would run us about $43. $43.25. We'll be able to confirm that later with more month usage. But you got to remember, I don't know how much the water system is using, the house is using, the other electrical devices are using. But according to the calculations that I can come up with, this during the coldest time of the year ran us about $43 or $44 in the cold months. I continued to run it for another little over another week. After the cold snap that we had, it went down almost 30%. Just by the temperature outside going up. As in today, I'm in short sleeves, so it's 50 degrees now. So of course this ain't going to kick on nearly as much as whenever we were in the really cold times. So that cost will come down even more, and I hope to calculate that one up and find out what that's going to end up running. But cost-wise, as of right now, that's about what we can see. That if you're in the harsh times of the winter, it's going to run you about $40 to keep your house at about 68 degrees. In our case, 68 degrees. And we have square footage is 1,200 square feet. But by the time you add the two floors, we've got around 1,600 square feet of actual living floor space. But the upstairs is a little different because heat rises, so so the heat goes up, so it's not nearly as bad up top as it is down in the lower section. Especially when we turn the fans on in the winter mode to circulate the hot air from the ceiling and bring it down. So that's what we have. So guys, I hope this was helpful in kind of doing a follow-up on the in-floor heating systems. We really wanted to test it, and it was no better time than whenever we had the really cold. Our air conditioning system is still off. The heat pump system is still off. The temperature in there is set to 67 on the hot water in-floor heating system, and right now we're running 71 degrees right here in the hallway. So as you can see, it generally keeps the house 3 to 4 degrees hotter than what the floor temperature is set at. Obviously heat rises, so that's what's doing that. But all in all, we could not be happier with the in-floor heating system, especially with concrete, because we want to make sure we didn't have cold feet. And everything that we heard about having in-floor heat, the benefits of them definitely tend to be a plus. So we hope you all enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe. Put a thumbs up on the video if you like it. If not, put a thumbs down. So either way, we're glad that you came to listen to us and to see our YouTube channel. And stick around. We'll have something else here in a couple of weeks. So see y'all later.